Welcome, Perennial Pride listeners. I hope you are well, and thanks for joining me today. I, always like to sincerely thank you for listening, and hopefully you're getting some great education out of this. And that's really our push, right? To help educate you, empower you to make uh, better financial decisions for yourself, your families, and your futures. And today I have a repeat guest, and we were just joking before we got on here. Alpesh, he was on episode 13 back in the day
Wow.
about real estate investing, cryptocurrency. Lots changed over the years, but still relevant. So I would urge you to go back and listen to that. Really good stuff. But Alpesh, I really appreciate you coming back on here, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Tom, for having me again. And I think I feel special because I'm one of the repeat guests. So that means someone must have listened to those episodes or that episode.
I know we've stayed in touch, and for those who don't recall, I mean, Alpesh has his own company, founder of Wealth Matters, the real estate investment and education company. So I know he's really big on education. So that's why I always appreciate him, his insights, and him coming on here. And he has his own book back in the day, Resilience: Turning Your Setback into a Comeback. So I really urge you to go check that out. So Alpesh, today we're going to talk about things different. I mean, we've talked in the past about our kids and investing, of course, but it isn't just to make money. It's to help obviously support our families and hopefully set them on a path for the future. So I thought about more recently, Alpesh, because my son just turned 18 yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, he turned 18. And so what do most 18-year-olds want on their birthday? Maybe a car, maybe, right, some money or whatever. We offered him a meeting with our state attorney to learn about his power of attorney and healthcare
Yeah.
directives, like,
Oh, I
right?
forgot. That's so important, actually.
Yeah. So it was a monumental day. We got him up early. So, but it shows you how quickly it goes, because I still remember when he was born, and now he's 18 and
Wow.
becoming an adult. And so these are why we as parents want to teach them what we can. I want to share with you what's going on in your world. What's been sort of brewing in, certainly in your world as family and business, and
Sure.
update us.
Yeah, so a lot of things have changed, and you and I have stayed connected. And you already know about some of the stuff I am working on, right? But the one of the thing which happened was COVID, right? 2020 COVID, things changed forever for a lot of people. I used to work from home a lot, but since COVID, my wife and I work from home exclusively, like I'm all the time. And so the issues we will face when both of you are working from home. But what happened during that March 2020? And I can't believe it's been 4 years that my kids were staying at home and they were watching me record this podcast, Wealth Matters podcast, talk to a lot of investors and also try to manage my IT business and all that. And they kept asking me, how do you make money? How do you make money? And you are always talking and you are all. So the discussion started from there. And then right now, as of today, this is April 19th, and after a month, we are going to launch a book called Growing the Money Tree for Kids. And it's focusing on teaching kids between age 8 to 12 about money, finance, and investing, right? So that's the journey we have been through in last 4 years, and that has been become my passion right now. I've spent more than 12 months now just on this book, literally trying to figure out what all I should do. Because the resilience book was great, but I was just a co-author. I had a one chapter, and the people who helped us with the book, they took care of everything: editing, proofreading, marketing, all that. Now that I'm co-authoring or writing my own book, I had to take on multiple, of course, as an entrepreneur, we wear multiple hats. But in this time, I can't remember how many hats I wore and I continued to replace. It was just crazy. And I learned so much about publishing industry, writing book, learning about formats and illustrations and whatnot. So that is what is happening right
Oh my goodness. So So why the heck did you start this? What prompted you to kind of even get on this journey? Because I mean, I wrote a book and it was difficult. It was very difficult, much more challenging than I ever thought it would be. What kind of compelled you to go down this path?
That's a great question. So you and I pretty much, or most of the people you interview or I interview, come from the same mindset, right? That entrepreneur mindset, business owner, making money work for you. We don't want to work for money. We don't want to be stuck in the rat race. We don't want to be 9 to 5 stuck in front of a computer. Or when I say that doesn't mean we don't do that. We are sometimes stuck in front of computer more than 9 to 5, but we do have still have time freedom, right? So I'm not trying to say that, oh yeah, we don't work at all. We actually work more than, used you, but we enjoy the work. We
Mhm.
enjoy the journey, not just the work. We enjoy getting from point A to point B. So when kept thinking about it, and then I started realizing I came from where and I'm here, right? I started basically investing. Truly in 2011 and like going all in investing on in 2015. And over the years, I have made so many mistakes, right? Of course, there's success, and but we don't want to talk about that. The failures is what have taught me more than the success, and that is what is important. So I was like, because I was not trained, I had no financial education. Our schools, be in India or Indonesia, Philippines, US, UK, they don't teach anything about money or investing or finance. So when my kids kept asking, I'm like, I had a light bulb moment. Like, why don't I teach them about money and finance, right? I have already learned so much, and I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a wealth management expert, but I have done a lot of research as well as I have invested myself in like all kind of things. Of course, stocks, real estate, crypto being the top, but private investments, government bonds, you name it, private loans, crowdfunding, oil and gas investment, and some have been even disastrous. So I started talking to them. I bought them some games like Payday, of course, Monopoly, Cash Flow Quadrant. And I started playing with them. Literally, I would be working here and they were sitting right behind me. And I'll say, oh, okay, my turn. Let me roll the dice, right? And I'll continue to play it, trying to impart some of the wisdom which I gained over the years. And while doing that, I'm like, can you girls start write down what we are talking about in your words so
Mm.
you understand, right? Because I will have to teach. You can't just say one time and they will get it. Because a lot of time we end up using technical jargons, right? Which, you know, even the regular people may not understand, right? So if I'm trying to teach this to my that time, wow, it was 7 year old and actually 8 and 11 years old, right? So, or actually 7 and 10, that's correct. So that's when it started, 7 and 10. So they continued to write down and we continued to learn. And the journey went on and on. And I'm like, when we saw the end product, we had like 50, 60 pages worth of material. And I said, okay, if these girls understood what I was trying to explain them, and they put it as well um, in the paper in their word or in a notebook, I think we can give back to the community by creating a book out.
Wow,
So
that's
that
incredible.
yeah, that just came to my mind. I'm like, okay, I have learned so much, and I from people like you and a lot of people I spoke on the podcast, right? I learned so much that of course, I cannot distill down in 100 pages, but at least I can start the kid today, this generation, with something they can start with. And the more I learned about it, I thought stocks and the real estate are the way to go. Those are the best and easiest ways to get started in investing. There are a lot of other ways, as I said, crypto, private, this, that. But I think these two are very easy because anyone can buy stock. You can buy stock for $10, you can buy for $100. Real estate, you have to go a little bigger, but you can start with, investing with your family and whatnot. So the book started focusing a lot more on stocks and real estate, but we expanded. So I think I would say, yeah, early last year, I told them do you really want to help me finish the book? Then I will publish it. Because, for once they went back to the school, it was very hard to get anything done with them. So we started again. We went through the book and then I started talking to them further about cryptocurrencies and a lot of the cool stuff. And they started enjoying. Actually, they would ask me every day, what's the price of Bitcoin? What's the price of Ethereum? And the bond, what are the yields doing and whatnot? So it was fun. So that was my promise to them that if they help me finish the book, I will make sure it's published no matter what it costs, no matter the amount of time it takes me, because I really want. So they are actually, my daughters are co-authors of the book. And I'm very proud of that because they not only learned about the journey, my journey, they not only learned about the money, finance, and investing, but they also are learning about publishing a book because we wrote it and they're like, oh, we gave you this, we are done. I'm like, no, the journey just started. Then I had to hire so yeah, of course we can go through all that. But that was my catalyst that I really want to teach these kids the things which we did not learn. The things it took us a lot of time and time as well as trial and error, right? I think if they can jumpstart and again we can talk about it, but my daughters now have their own Roth IRA account and they've already bought about 10 stocks last year. And those stocks most of them are doing good so far. So yeah, they have started investing.
That's great. I mean, that's the thing. I think for a lot of cultures, certainly here in America, I didn't grow up talking about money. It can be a very taboo topic, sensitive topic. And this is where it's wonderful to hear. I mean, to be able to have just open, honest dialogue and discussions around a topic that people can get a little bit weird with, right? Because we put so much more power to a dollar or investing than probably it's worth. Like to be able to talk about these things openly, honestly, and figure out like there's so many things you can do with it and to expose them to it, it's huge because then they can figure out what's right for them, right? There's not one size fits
Yep,
all for any investment
exactly.
or financial philosophy. And yeah, it can get complicated, but just as well as I do, once you start getting into some of these things, they're probably not as complicated as you think. And then the
Yes.
experience really helped you gain some level of confidence. And you've given that to your kids early that they're getting interested and they can sort of carve their own path in the future. That's wonderful.
Well, yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. I think all our kids and even kids, believe me or not, even though I wrote the book targeting 8 to 12 years old, because that's the age that my kids were at that time. But even an 18-year-old would learn a lot out of any newbie, even if someone has no clue. And I know there are 30-year-olds, they have no clue. I had no clue when I was 30. If I would have had this book, it would have helped me tremendously because it's so dumbed down version. It's so easy and simple to read. I'm like, why did not I know about this? Or at least, or why didn't someone tell me about being the rich dad poor dad, right?
Yeah.
Because at
Right.
30-year-old, I wouldn't have understood that. So I think this book would be a great addition to in every family's library.
Yeah, that's great. So we walk through like because to your point, to try to put it in simpler terms. And again, that is the in my mind a pure level of sophistication when you can take a complex topic and distill it down to something very simple, right? That's a challenge for a lot of things. And so when you were going through that with your girls, like what are some of the core sort of principles or tenets that kind of came out that you got into this book and are including?
Yeah, so when they asked me, how do you make money? My first answer was, and it was my dad's answer when I was growing up, money does not grow on tree. So that is how we came up with the title then. I'm like, my growing the money tree, right? Because it is like a tree. You work hard, you make money, but then do you want to continue to work hard and do you want to continue to make money or do you want that money to start working for you at the same time? Because you want to have, and you and I know this, that you want to have some kind of passive income or you want to have multiple streams of income, right? So that if something happens to you or something happens to your active income, right? Active income is where either you are a business owner spending a lot of time or W2 employee. then you are able to rely on that passive income or multiple streams of income, right? And I learned it hard way as well myself. So when I started talking to about them, kept telling them, you see me every day. I'm working, but I'm also available. But usually there are some parents and they go to work 6 a.m. They go get back home, maybe 6 p.m., 9 p.m. sometimes, traffic and whatnot. So do you want to be in that situation where you are just on the road or working in front of computer or wherever, right? Or do you want to have some kind of time freedom? And that is how the discussion started because I didn't want to just talk about money, but I wanted to show them about the life they are going. I think it's very important, right? It's not money, it's not this, but do you want to be able to play sport? And they were watching me at the time. I was training for half Ironman. I was training like crazy, 8 to 12 hours a week, right? That's a lot. So they're like, oh, you are able to do all this, plus you are able to train. And I'm like, yeah, if I was, doing a 9 to 5 in the San Francisco Bay Area, it would have taken me 2 to 4 hours in commute. I wouldn't have time to do anything. And if I would have trained, then I wouldn't have time to spend time with you, right? So do you want to enjoy, of course, and you want to be able to afford things you really want. Not that you want to splurge or spend, waste your money, but you want to be able to spend money on things you like, right? And you shouldn't
Mhm.
have to think that you cannot afford. The question is should always be how can I afford it? And if then the question would be if I can afford it, do I want to buy it or not? Right. But the idea was that again, save, invest, and then spend, right? So I started trying to put those core principles in their mind first before I started talking about how you start investing and what are other asset types and asset classes.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's so key because to your point around, we always preach this here too, is money is the tool, but it's there to be a tool to help drive your lifestyle. Like the things that you find important, what you want to put money towards, spend or invest, but like it's just the tool and mechanism to help you figure out how you want to live your life. And unfortunately, I think sometimes it gets flipped because money becomes the thing that people chase, and then their life
Yes.
sort of has to revolve around it, right? Because, and that's just kind of what certainly the way I grew up and learned it. And so then you got to turn around, is this the life you actually wanted or not?
Yes.
And you've kind of, switched it around the order of importance, but and then what are some approaches that and ways to think about to maximize it, right? And that's what I'm gathering. When you started diving into it with your girls, was there anything that sort of jumped out at you was maybe surprising in terms of how they approached and thought about kind of what they learned around investing that kind of surprised you?
Yeah. So of course they were at 7 and 10 and then 8 and 11, right? So their idea was that, oh, as soon as I make this money, I'm going to go buy this thing, right? I'm going to go to Starbucks and boba and get it and I'm good, right? Then I had to start explaining to them that those are things you want to enjoy, but you can't have them every day, right? Let not your life depend on those stuffs, right? Or you have to spend that money every day. So that and their understanding was that, oh yeah, if we do all this, then we don't have to do anything. And I'm like, no, you still got to continue to invest your time. You still got to continue to learn. And that was another thing I was able to impart on them that because they now look at me and I'm always reading. By the way, I love reading books. So, and they love reading books. But they're like, yeah, they enjoy the books which are fictional book and whatnot, whereas I'm always reading books about real estate investments or business ownership or self-development. Or my race side, any race I'm doing, I want to learn more about the body and stuff, right? The fitness. So now they started understanding that it's not just one time, it's the journey. You got to enjoy that journey and you got to continue to learn, right? Things change. If you just invest in stocks forever, things change, right? Now cryptos came over, right? So you got to, even when you are investing in stocks, you may be investing in stocks which are related to right? Or stocks which are related to real estate. So those are some of the things when I started talking to them, I realized that they wanted And again, I think that's the problem with most of us, or the way we are treating our kids, that they all want instant gratification. Right? Then as soon as I get, gonna do this. Like, you want this money to grow. There is something called compound effect, right? Compounding effect. If I make $5 and I go to Starbucks and spend $5, then I'm not gonna see that money grow ever, right? So those are some of the things I saw in them, and then I had to continue to revise it. I'm not saying that the kids are perfect or my kids are perfect. They are learning. Of course, they also have boba and Starbucks almost every week or other week, but at least they see the value of money now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's tough in this, especially we see this across certainly America. The external pressures to do things, to spend money,
Yes.
and you see it everywhere. And there's so much pressure, and it's like I gotta have X, Y, and Z, whatever
Yeah.
car, toy, and there's so much to that. And there's a self control we all have to allow that to compound and defer, and that's difficult, right? It's more of a mindset thing than anything. And that I think is a powerful sort of tool that we can impart to folks to help them think longer term about things and make critical decisions. I mean, that's what we want for our kids, right? We can't think for them forever, right? So we have
Right.
to train them to be able to think for themselves, right? What is best for them? What gives them the most freedom, control their lives, and certainly their money, right? And so this is cool that you're able to show different ways that you can invest and philosophies on how to think about it, right? There's no one right way. I wish there was, be easier.
Right. Nope.
There's so many interesting ways to go about it, and things never stay the same. So you're be a little more flexible and open-minded about things, right? So that's great. So so where are you in this journey now? I mean, is the book available now? When is that gonna what's the kind of status currently? Yeah,
So I
folks to
hope when
start?
this episode releases, the book would be available or would be about to launch. We are planning to launch the book on May 19th, I think. So about a month from today. So very close. Like we have, once I finished the book, I went to the editor, help me finalize the book. Like basically almost rewrote 40% of the book, I could say. And then we have worked with copy editor to finalize the book. And then, of course, you go through proofreader. Then my daughter said, because it's a kid's book, so we need pictures, images, graphics. So they had, my daughter love art. So they had, put some images in. We can't use them as it is. So we had to hire illustrator, and they pretty much refined those graphic. So we finished that, and now the formatting phase is going on. That's final, like combining the book. And believe it or not, when I said we started with 50 pages, the book is right now about 180 pages after 170 pages
Oh
after
my
we
God.
added the illustrations on one page, so it turned out really well. I thought 50 pages may not be, but this is like perfect size because, when you count just the reading pages, these are like less than 100 pages. So that is what I think the kids to that age prefer, right? And they can go through one chapter each day and they will be able to finish it in like 15 days max. So my goal is to launch in May so that summertime, I want every parent in America, every parent. I know you can afford it. If you can go to Starbucks, if you can go to boba shop, if you go out for lunch or dinner, you can afford a book like $7, 6, $7, an ebook or 13, $14 of a paperback book. Every parent should buy at least one book. If they have two kids, buy two books and hand it to them and let them learn. This summer is the opportunity, and this is why I planned it such a way that our book releases right before summer break so that the kids in US as well as around the world, most of the part of the world, have access to this book so that they can spend some time in that month or two, learn much about it, enjoy the book. It has a story. We have characters. And we are planning to grow those characters in my website where time comes in about 3, 4 months, we will have this book converted into a video book where the characters will speak to you, right? But the time right now is that ebook or paperback, it's coming. And I will really appreciate if every one of the parent in America buys. I think I try to give back to my kids. I tried my best and then I wanted to give back to community, but I think it's your time to give back to your kids by buying that book, or maybe you can buy, go to library, ask for it, because when you ask in library, they are able to order. I go to my library and I ask them to order so many books all the time. Because sometimes I want to just check out the book and see if I like, then I end up ordering. So, go to your library, maybe go to your school library. And but yeah, the book is coming May, and we are very.
That is wonderful. And we'll definitely, as this comes out, we'll stay in touch and make sure we put all the information about where you can buy the book and in the show notes here. Because listen, I think to your point, these are small investments that you're making in your children. You look at how much we spend on college or whatever it is. I mean, these are tiny little investments that we're making. And to your point, I am so blessed to be able to come across so many great financial books and people who have gone through experiences like you're describing, Alpesh, in your own way to impart wisdom to people that they can take with them. I mean, these are just small investments we all have to make. And it's really great that you're putting this together. Really look forward to it. So this is from a legacy standpoint too. Imagine, I mean, this is something you get to share with your future generations of the Parmar family. And like you did together is just a testament of open-minded you are and progressive and something that you're going to leave as a lasting memory for many more people to come, certainly in your family. So Alpesh, any last parting shots before we end this episode?
No, I think the last thing is our website is coming up soon. It's called moneytreebooks.com. And we are also on every social media possible, because I know a lot of people are in different places, right? Depending on what you do and what kind of things you enjoy. So we are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So do check us out. The handle is pretty simple, Growing the Money Tree. And the website is moneytreebooks.com. So if you guys have any question, feel free to check out. By the way, we are going to also have, when we launch the book, we are going to have some bonus material, right? So if people pre-order the book, they are going to have like one-on-one call with me. We'll have a separate Zoom meeting for all the people who pre-ordered, so they can ask me questions. So we are coming up with a lot of bonus material as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's awesome. Great stuff, Alpesh. Listen, certainly thank you for your time. I'm really looking forward to seeing this book and sharing it with everyone because I think these are all tremendous resources that come from a unique experience of learning through your own experiences with your children. And I think it's something we can easily share to our children too. So it's great. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your time, Alpesh.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for Tom for having me. I really appreciate it. And as always, I enjoyed chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me on this episode today. I really am grateful for you as listeners to the Perennial Pride podcast. I hope you're getting some tremendous value out of it and hopefully pushing you along your journey to financial freedom. I put this podcast together really to help you get more educated around your finances so you feel empowered to live the life that you really want. And if you like the content that you heard today or watched, then I would encourage you to go to my website, perennialpride.com. There's tons of other content there. And you can access my book, Wealth Beyond the Numbers. You can buy it there on my website. It's a aggregation of a lot of great tips and tools I've learned to not only build my wealth in my accounts, but build wealth in my life and abundance and joy, and something that has a lot of my experiences in the journey that I've been on personally. Hopefully that can be also of value to you as you sort of move forward. So thanks again for being a Perennial Pride listener, and we'll see you on the next episode.